I'm going to tell you the issue I'm having is that a colleague here at the agency, I during my group sessions, I've been getting reports from the group members that they see him out in public, frequently visiting these bars in the city, drinking to the point of intoxication, being loud, lewd, swearing, just acting unprofessionally. So, at first I heard it from like a couple of clients, but, I looked at it like, and knowing them, they weren't really happy about being in treatment anyway. And
Hmm.
I just, I just put it to, just trying to find something on him, to take the focus off while they're there. But then, I heard it from like 4 or 5 other clients. My first question is, what y'all doing in the bar? But that's not the issue. The issue is they're seeing my colleague out in public, intoxicated and
Right.
acting inappropriately. So that's the dilemma because they saying, and I'm listening to them, my clients, how he gonna tell us about not using and doing this and making all these changes in our life, and then he's out here doing such and such.
Right. So you've got a colleague. People keep these clients keep reporting that they're seeing him out drunk in public.
Right.
He's acting inappropriately while he's drunk. Um, have has anyone who's not part of the client base, ever seen or heard about that?
I mean, it's another person that they go out occasionally together, but they don't. You don't talk about his behaviors. It's like yeah, we went out to the club, we had a good time, kind of like okay, all right, cool. Nothing concerning has been shared with me by this other colleague. No, it's just the clientele reporting this, and
Okay, so it's just the clients that are reporting that your colleagues spending all of this time drunk and disorderly, so to speak.
yeah, yeah, and the emphasis on being drunk and disorderly. 'Cause what I feel is that this is personal life. I mean, what he does in his life outside of work is what he does. But then in that, it's like, you representing the agency, the
Right.
profession, and where do we draw the line at, what I can do on my time off work and when does it like start impacting on my profession, my job. So I'm at odds with that. I
It's difficult trying to balance, if he should have the personal autonomy to do what he wants, or if he's, representing the company with what he's doing.
yes, yes, yeah, yeah. So I mean, again, I want to say this is your life. You can do what you want to do. I mean, whatever you do outside of work, that's what you do. But for me, it's like I have to be aware of the fact that I am a professional. I am in a position to serve the people, and how I present matters. Even
Mm.
though it's my own life, like you say, man, I have autonomy to do what I want to do in my own personal life, but still, it's that element that, what, wherever I be, I'm subject to run across clients. They see me, and it's like I need to conduct myself in a like a personal, I mean, professional way. I mean, I guess, yeah, that's the dilemma. It's like,
Yeah, and so you're conducting yourself in a professional way and keeping your personal and professional life separate.
true.
It sounds like the way you're seeing it, because it's coming into his professional life through
Yeah,
his personal life, but it is affecting his professional life, and it's affecting
right.
your professional life.
Yeah, because and I got to hear this, and like, how do I address that when they bring it to me? Like, like, yeah, it's like hypocritical. You know what I'm saying? You telling us not, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't be drinking. How it affects our lives and all that, and then you're out in public, intoxicated in public. You know what I'm saying? This is a
Mm.
mixed message. I think it kind of affects the integrity of the profession, But again, this is personal life, and that's the issue. That's the issue. It's like,
Mm.
where do we go with this? So,
That's a tough thing to puzzle out.
yeah. Now, as a colleague, a friend, I've spoken with him about it, but what I get from him is, this is my life. What I do outside of work is my business, and it doesn't matter. That I'm like, well, it
So
does.
he's saying it doesn't matter, but your experience is that if it matters to you, then it must matter to him too.
Yeah, we doing the same type of work, because I mean, we have the same job title. We might not do the job the same way, but still, we are, we're clinicians. We're supposed to be presented in a certain way, you know. And I'm not saying he's like impaired drinking on the job, but impairment is impairment, and then your impairment is impacting on, I don't know, our profession, and then your interaction with your clients is like, or me with mine, because it's like if he doing it and he's sitting in the room, trying to share with us how we need to get our life together and that, da, 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 then he's the professional. Who are you to tell me to do this when I see you out in public? That
Right. So he's not intoxicated at work, but his work is still being impaired by him being intoxicated when he's
yeah,
not at work.
right. His relationships with clients, and I'm I'm feeling like I'm being cast in the same boat. You know what I'm saying? So that
You're supposed to
maybe
be
I'm
on the same
overthinking it.
team, but the way he's acting is making that pretty hard.
It's making it hard, and then it's like, you know, my integrity is, what I'm saying, in question.
Hmm.
Even though I don't drink or drug, period, at all. I don't go out to bars. I don't do any of that. But here we go. You got the professional. I work. We work side by side. Boom, 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 boom. He's doing this. It's like automatically you associate me with that. But it's not fair. But not it's not about being fair or unfair, but it's about, my man, we professionals, we can't. I even said to him, why go to those bars? Why don't you? And the argument is, I can go where I want to go. I'm a grown ass man. This is the dictate where I go and do my drinking at. And I'll be like,
Well, isn't part of being a grown man acting like it, though?
yeah, that's it. It's a responsibility. We chose to be in this professional. It's a responsibility. You know what I'm saying? To present in a professional manner, no matter what. You at Walmart, Kmart, bar, whatever. You can't be in the line at Walmart, lamb based, going off on the cashier about
Mm.
a discrepancy about an item, a price on an item, cursing and all to now the police got to take you up. No, it's a little strange, but I'm just saying it's the same premise to me, and it's like, yeah. So the dilemma is, do I report this, or I mean, he's my friend. He's a colleague, but he's also my friend.
Hmm.
But do I report it? Yeah.
That's a tough question. I mean, it sounds like you have a list of reasons why you see what he's doing as not ethical.
Hmm? What is it?
You've
Is it Is it my place to say it's unethical, considering it's outside of? Yeah, but yeah.
Well, think about it this way: if you're a prison guard and you're out committing crimes on the street, is that something that that should be reported? If you're in that position working in a prison and you've got a colleague who's working in the prison and they go out and they're up to whatever shit when they're not at work, is that something that you tell your boss about or do you keep it to yourself?
I don't know if it's my obligation to the friendship or loyalty to my friends. I struggle. I'm struggling with. I'm struggling with that. You know what I mean? It's like
Do you think that so if the premise is that if he's your friend, you don't want to report him because that would hurt potentially his career.
yeah, yes, yeah.
If he was a good friend to you, would he report you if you were doing something shady or problematic at work? Would you want a friend to sort of call you out on it? It sounds like you tried to tell
I
him that
would.
this wasn't a thing he should be doing. That's a thing that a friend would do, right? Is
Yeah,
tell him,
yeah.
hey, you should stop this. Does a good friend follow through or does a good friend shrug and walk away?
The good friend is tough one. That's tough because it's not. It's I won't be. Maybe I'm playing this too far, but in the event that you lose your job behind that, I don't want to be having to carry that. But then again, if I'm allowing you to do that because I know, it's like I'm just condoning the behavior. So,
Right.
as a good friend, the right thing to do is have the conversation with him. And what I've done is like maybe you need to like I said, the suggestion: frequent bars outside of what they go. Just be mindful that if you're gonna go out and have a few drinks, just be mindful that it might be a client somewhere. You just go out with that awareness that. And now when I do that, I feel I've done my duty. I've done
Mhm.
my due diligence. Yeah, I don't need to take it any further. But then I think about the position that this person takes is like he gonna keep doing what he doing, and then I know about it. Now I'm feeling some kind of way. You know, it's like I'm keeping a secret, keeping a secret. Yeah. So remember,
Sounds like you have a tough one to puzzle out there.
yeah. I'd worked at a place before, and I had a situation that was kind of similar, and when the director found out about it, right, called me in the office and questioned me about my knowledge of what was happening, and I knew what was going on with this person, and the director says to me, she says, "So why didn't you report that?"
Hmm.
Like like she was saying, you had an obligation to report that, and
Right.
yeah, I struggled
And
with
you're
that.
struggling again with a
Yeah,
situation
yeah,
where you
yes,
have a
yeah,
professional obligation and then your obligation as a friend
yes.
and you're trying to weigh which one is more important.
Now, when you get down to it, and I think about it, if it was going to affect my job, it's just a no-brainer. You know, but it's still, it's yeah,
Right, because you're not choosing to make him go out, right? You're choosing whether or not to tell someone about something that is happening.
yes, true, true, true.
And you've given him a chance to decide to change. You didn't just immediately go to the supervisor with it the second you heard. You took it to him and said, "Hey, I don't think this is appropriate." And he decided not to change his behavior.
Yeah. So it's that loyalty, friendship. But then on the other hand, I'm like feeling like I'm being held hostage. You know what I'm saying? For what
Mm-hmm.
I know. And that's what it is. And every day, now I ain't gonna say every day, but this thought always enters my mind when I go to work and I'm sitting in my office that I'm gonna be called in. Be like, what do you know about that? Well, and I'm gonna have to be honest about it. Yeah. So let's just. Do I do the right thing? What is the right thing? Do I do the right thing, or do I be like, I've done enough because I don't want to be responsible for him losing his job.
Well, if the reason that he's losing his job is that because you are reporting him or because he's doing something that's reportable, because nothing stays hidden forever, right? So if whatever he's doing would get him fired, then is it your responsibility to try and keep that secret, or is it his responsibility to not do something that would get him fired?
Yes, that responsibility would be on him. Bottom line. Oh, yeah. Bottom line. That would be on him. Then, when I'm thinking about it, it just doesn't end with me saying I brought it to him and this was his response. I've done my thing and I can just, but no, no, because when I think about it, why I chose to be in this profession and do the work I do is to help the clients, and that value of do no harm, and it does not just apply to me directly. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Doing harm to anybody. It's as a professional, we do no harm, and so yeah, when I'm thinking along those lines, yes, you know what? The right thing to do is to, you know, it's the, yeah, the right thing to do. The right thing is to do no harm. It's like I'm guilty of it, whether it's I'm directly, impacting or by knowledge, knowing indirectly and not saying anything about it. It's yeah, okay.
All right. Ready to trade places and take my ethical dilemma?
Okay, you put it on pause.
No, I'm gonna let just keep Ryan here.
So let
That
me
way, you
write.
just have one video.
Okay.
Uh, so the situation I'm in here, um, I have a supervisor, and so uh, she's in a position where she does three things, and two of those things she's very good at. One thing is intake and assessment, and one of those things is doing clinical counseling. The third thing is uh, reviewing and managing people below her as they do group meetings and stuff like that. So she's working at a master's level. She's got 8 people who work under her at a bachelor's level. The thing is that she's really bad at managing other people. She's like really inconsistent. She'll change rules on people without telling them. She'll get really snippy and mean with people. And the issue that I'm running into is that I've had a lot of people who have her as a manager come to me and say, like, well, you're working at a master's level, kind of. Can't you do something about this? Can't you talk to someone about this? And I'm trying to figure out what I should do from there. If it's really my place to do anything, I'm just an intern. Like, this is not a place I'm going to work at forever. And really the thing I'm struggling with is whether someone should be in that position if they're really good at two parts of the job and pretty bad at the third part of the job. Because when it comes to intake and assessment, she does it twice as fast as anyone else. She's incredibly thorough, gets all of it done to the letter. Paperwork's perfect. She makes incredible steps forward with people in clinical counseling. It just seems like she's really kind of stressed and overwhelmed with having to manage anyone else. And she's both stressed by it and kind of taking it out on the people below her.
Okay. So, all right. So I'm hearing that this person has strengths that you applaud, you that admirable, and then on the same token, there are, and I don't like to use the word weaknesses, but pretty much, can we say struggles? A
Mm.
struggle, a struggle with managing others. Right? She's a good worker. It sounds like in the things that she does well, her interactions with people are polite, considerate, and everything. But it's the management part when I guess the pressures of doing that brings out some behaviors that are concerning for you and others. And you have coworkers wanting you pretty much to be, could I say, like not the spokesperson, but the one to help her in that area,
Right.
pretty much.
Yeah, they see me as someone who has more power and control than they do because I'm able to do some of the jobs that the supervisor is. Because at least while I'm working as an intern, I can operate under credentials to do intake and assessment. And so they see me as being in a position of power, even though, I'm not getting paid and I'm only there 12 hours a week.
Okay, that's not your role or your responsibility. Okay, that's what you're saying to me. That's not my role. It's not my responsibility. But I do have concerns that this is going on, and you're listening to your coworkers say this to you, and in that, what's your thoughts about that? You say,
Right. I mean, it is not my role. Um, I guess it's a little bit everyone's responsibility, right? Like it's not entirely mine, but I shouldn't just ignore that half a dozen people that I barely know have come to me and said, "Hey, can you do something to help?" Like I think as a social worker, anytime someone does that in any context, I feel a responsibility to do something.
to do something. Have they been specific with what they're asking of you to do in this situation, or
Different people have different requests, everything from, "Hey, I don't know what you can do, but can you do something?" to, "Hey, I think you must have some ability to get her fired, right? I don't want to work for this lady anymore." Um, and so looking at that, like, it's not my responsibility to fire my supervisor.
no,
Right.
no,
That's
no.
not possible. That's not reasonable. But I could try and take it up the chain to someone else, to, one of the regional managers or something like that, and say, "Hey, these are the problems that people have been having."
And that's what they're bringing to you. Okay.
But I could do that, do kind of what in general they're asking, and put together everyone's complaints and hand them over to a regional manager and trust that I'm an intern. I'm going to be gone in a couple of months anyways. So if there's any blowback from it, it won't really be a problem for me. Maybe that's part of why they're coming to me about it. Or
Hmm.
I could say, "Hey, this isn't. I recognize this is a problem, but it's not my problem to solve. I'm an intern. This isn't really my responsibility. I don't know enough about what's going on to even put something together that's really coherent about this."
Okay. So in all that, the worst case scenario would be if you were to engage in that responsibility? What's the worst case scenario here?
I mean, worst case scenario probably would be getting fired from my internship with 120 hours to go on it.
Okay.
Um, and then, I'd have to go through the school, fight back on it because they shouldn't fire me as a reprisal for bringing up a complaint, so on, so on. So it might turn into a whole big thing and affect my career, but I don't think that's entirely likely. I think the most likely thing is that someone will take a report, smile and nod, and then probably not do too much about it.
And you have shared with me factual evidence of her, and I don't want to say incompetence or anything like that, but the area that she's lacking in, you have you has it like affected you on the job where you could say, well, because she didn't do such and such, or she said such and such to me, I was affected in this kind of way.
A little bit, not as severe as some other people have reported, but she also doesn't she manages another team, not mine directly. So I work kind of side by side with her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not my manager, so I never get like the feedback other people have said they've gotten. But I have noticed sometimes where I'll bring something up and she'll get kind of abrasive about it out of nowhere. Like I mentioned the new community health center in Syracuse, and she said there isn't a new community health center, and I had to show her pictures of it before she'd believe me.
Mm, 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 mm. Okay, so your position, are you being like placed in a position to act, or do you feel that it's not your place? What's the main concern you have here?
I think I have two main concerns.
Mm-hmm.
One is that nothing ever gets done because no one ever actually reports anything, and so no one ever looks into it. And a bunch of my colleagues have a worse career for it. The other concern is that I report something, this manager who I work pretty closely with, even though they don't manage me directly,
Mm-hmm.
starts making my life a lot harder.
Mm.
Because no one likes having a coworker that doesn't like them.
Right. Okay. I get that. I get that. Mm.
I don't know, maybe because this isn't the most time sensitive thing, right?
No. Mm-hmm.
No clients are being harmed. This person is again fantastic at working with clients.
Okay.
Um, so maybe the solution is to wait until the second thing isn't so much of a concern
Okay.
because I don't plan to have a career working at this particular agency. So if I wait till I'm closer to being done with my internship, spend that time getting more coherent written reports from the people who have complaints more directly than I do, and sort of submit that all on my way out the door, then maybe I'm both protecting myself and helping protect my coworkers as much as I can.
Okay. I mean, that that's an option for you also, right? But well, in the interim, in the current, who benefits from you addressing or not addressing the concern? Who benefits? Who gets hurt? Who benefits? Who, who gets hurt?
Well, I benefit because my job doesn't get harder.
Mm-hmm.
Colleagues who have the ability to do the thing that they're asking me to do
Mm-hmm.
don't get my help. And so they still get the same problem that they had before. And so the question becomes, is it, does my responsibility to help them with something they're not willing to do for themselves, is that something that I feel like I need to do, or is that something that that can wait another couple months?
Is there, I'm going to ask you a question. Is there any like ethical principle or value that's being not adhered to, violated in this situation?
Well, I feel like my supervisor, well, the this supervisor is violating some ethical boundaries, especially with professionalism,
Okay.
at
Hmm.
least if the things that I've been told are true.
Okay.
I think most of our ethical guidelines say more about how we treat clients than how we treat each other. There
Okay.
is an amount of professionalism expected, but
So, in all this, summarize it. You had the concerns. You give thought to how this would affect not only the individual but your colleagues and yourself. You don't want to create a situation where you're putting your internship in jeopardy by speaking up. Not, I don't want to even say speaking up, by addressing the concern. And you came to a conclusion that on your way out, that you can leave your concerns or strategies with them. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
yeah.
Okay. So, and in that, what happens with you and your relationships with the supervisors? And I mean, till you get to that place, how are you gonna navigate what's going on here?
Yeah,
Maybe it's not a question we need to talk about right now. How about that, Noah? Okay,
okay.
we'll leave that one for later. We'll leave that one for
All
later.
right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So, good. Sounds like a good thing that you plan to do. All right.
All right.
Thank you. We'll
I'm
get together
gonna
and we'll revisit this next time we meet.
all right. Sounds good.
Okay.
Stopping the